Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video and the final video in the Ogre's Pride World Tour series, Tempered Edge EX5 Veldora. The final stage of Tempered Edge, the hardest stage of Tempered Edge. Because of the amount of HP he has, 1.7 million, we need a pretty big nuker to do this. And it is a blue-focused stage, but the unfortunate thing is that unless we change the team up... well, actually, no, we can, because Soei's here. I always forget how goddamn good Soei is. Alright, well, never mind. We're going to run the same team as we did most of the World Tour, except for the Clayman stage, because that took Benimaru. But Benimaru, Soei, Water Shuna again, Hakuro, Momiji, and Shuna. This team still cannot get to that full 400 points to use the extra 100% pierce, well, 300 points, but you know what I'm going for. The full 580 point skills on turn 8. We are nuking on turn 8, and this is a traditional blue stacking stage for the Light 3.0 team, and I have no doubt that Shuna can do it. Will she be super duper impressive? We'll see. Her weakness strike means nothing here. Her magic buff certainly does. And I think the stage also just doesn't want Pierce or Physical, or doesn't want Crit and Physical, both of which we are not. So this should go fairly well planned. So let's see exactly how well planned it is. Alright, Orb Change, turn 1, because Soei is a god. And then we'll bring Shuna in. So we're going to primarily be going with her. Momiji will, well, not on this specific team, but normally Momiji would outdamage if she also had a magic buff. If I did the tests, right? I put Violet on this team instead of Hakuro, and I put Elmesia in for Water Shuna. And 1-for-1, if both of them have the same buffs, and Momiji has the extra magic buff, 100% versus Shuna's 120, legitimately, she does like 5 million more damage, and that's just from the power of the fire buff that she gives herself. The 70% fire buff accounts for 5 or 6 million damage, which is crazy to think about, but also shows you kind of why no one is really super hyped on this Shuna specifically. Because it's not... how do I word this? In an AoE setting, it is not uncommon for the AoE nuker to do more total overall damage, and that's because the AoE is hitting multiple targets, so it's, 15 times 3, right? So 45 million damage versus the single target nuke of 20 million damage. But we've never had a scenario where straight up, with the same buffs, the magic nuker was just weaker overall. Like, it just did straight up less damage on a 1-for-1 hit. If I were to nuke with Momiji and I were to nuke with Shuna, Momiji would do more. And we haven't really seen that. And I'm not sure if that's just a terrible design decision on the devs' part, or intentionally done so people don't feel as bad if they don't pull Shuna, because they probably shouldn't pull Shuna. Alright, so let's alt rush Shuna up to an alt here. Momiji will get her alt as well this turn. We'll use Soei to convert again. And then we've got another stack of Benimaru. Excellent. So, overall, I think since we know how this team runs, so we don't really need to talk about what we're doing here, I like this team. It is very powerful. I don't like Hakuro. I don't very much care for Shuna, as as you probably have noticed by now. That's a good hand right there. But, as run as a whole, and especially in its super-powered whale power, Violet and Elmesia and Blanc. You take Shuna out of here, Momiji does probably quadruple the total damage dealt that this entire game has to offer as far as HP is concerned. Like, I don't think if you put every single boss that's currently in the game, like every single stage that is available right now, I think that Momiji would kill all of it in one fell swoop. Don't quote me on that, because I'm probably wrong, but I think it just goes to show just how incredibly powerful this team is. Because this is... I did, 28 million damage in the Max Power Momiji showcase? And I think during Jubilee, my AoE runs, they were doing like 10 million, 18 million. I'm sure the sweats got it much, much higher than that, but you gotta realize the amount of power that came out of this single meta alone. Does that make it worth, like, going ham and summoning for? I don't really know about that, because we are 2 months away from the 3rd anniversary, and they always introduce some kind of new mechanic or gimmick that makes them ridiculously powerful. Visions of Coleus introduced Synergy and the Rainbow Orbs, and Synergy still is a very strong power buff, considering the Soe has 100% Synergy power. Let's do his orb change, and then we'll bring Hakuro in. So, I can only dream of what the 3rd anniversary is going to do as far as give me my 50 million AoE damage or something like that. Something just totally bonkers off the wall, and I'm just going to cry when I'm summoning and I do the first damage test with them. It's going to be absolutely hysterical. So it's like, yes, this team does a literal fuck ton of damage. But in a couple months, we're going to see a team that probably does even more fuck tons of damage. And that means that that value is not equal. This team is good right now. Next month, I don't know what next month is going to look like, quite honestly, for September. And then early October will be the weird kind of in-between meta. But, man, if we're doing 30 now, we're going to do 50 or 60 in a couple months' time. And that's crazy to think about. When the 1st anniversary, we barely did 500,000. That's the level of power creep that we have seen over the past 2 years. 500,000 total damage with an optimized team to 30 million right before it. Incredible. Okay, so we can alt swap here, and then we could use the Water Shuna orb change, and that will give us everything that we need. Still not enough to use the full power of Soe, but again, it's not really going to be necessary. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see. How many stacks? This will be probably 9 stacks after these last 2. I think we're looking pretty good. Alright, thank you, thank you. Oh, cheeky counter as a going away gift. Any more? Nope. Alright, that's it. So, we will alt buff. Boom. We will bring Soe in. And we will Momiji, Shuna buff. And then, yeah, we don't have anything else that we can remotely use to increase our numbers at all. Alright, well, let's check the buffs one last time, because this is the last video after we use these 2 stacks. But this is going to be a lot of damage. Shock surprise. How much damage, though, are we going to get out of 10 stacks of Benimaru? So 170% ult damage. Shuna herself has 14% pierce power from the Light Shuna Protector trait. Guaranteed synergy, guaranteed pierce, 100% weakness strike, which is not relevant here because she's not light. 120% magic, 70% fire, 50% synergy, and 100% pierce power. Probably about 2 million. 2 million damage is what I hear. I kind of want to send her her own orb first. And then this. Alright. 132. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And we do 2.2 million damage, so not far off. Not far off at all, and still very good for type neutral. The weakness strike doesn't matter. We didn't have an extra 50% synergy power. We don't have the 60% extra damage coming from the Protector because we're fighting an Earth enemy, because we're not. It's 2.2 is really good for type neutral with missing a couple buffs. So, Ogre's Pride team, very, very strong, very, very good. I don't like Hakuro. I don't really like the Shuna, but we cannot deny it does nutty damage. So let me know what you think of the meta overall, as a whole, now that we've had our practice with it, and now that Jubilee, by the time this video goes out, is almost done, if not actually done. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the team as a whole, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.